All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in TCP SuperSystem. I'm your creator, Jason. As we promised earlier today in our shorts, we're going to show you something hot tonight that happened in the Bitcoin mining space. They all had, a lot of them had double digit gains today. And we're going to give you a specific example that will show you how you can leverage our system to save 70% on losses. And some people take those high side opportunities. You could scale out. You could hedge with put options, whatever you want to do. But before we go into all this, I have to say that I am not a financial advisor. Anything that I share related to the system, the signals, the interpretations, they are not recommendations to buy or sell. They are shared for informational purposes only to help you identify areas of opportunity when you're doing your own research and making your own decisions. I do this for free. This is something that took me 2 to 3 years to build. I've fine tuned it. It's remarkable. And we use this to make alpha returns that far exceed the 7% that people are happy to get in the stock market. And we just want to do this to help ordinary people in our community. And hopefully it can help change your life like it's changing ours. Like I said, this took a lot of pain and experience to get through, but I've fine tuned something that's pretty special here. So we're going to give you some great examples tonight, including Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Marathon. We're also going to look at some other alerts you can see on the screen. Today we've had a plethora of alerts come in, even just as early as 30 minutes ago. So we got confirmations of trend reversals with Yearn Finance, Near, Ethereum, Uniswap, potential trend reversals with Atom, potential Cardano, potential API3, confirmed Marathon, confirmed Aave, potential BitDeer, that's mining, potential Irene, that's mining, potential CleanSpark, potential Hive, all those are miners, Cypher's mining, potential, and confirmed with Polkadot. So lots of good stuff. We're not going to go through all of those tonight, but I'm going to show you specifically Bitfarms. We'll look at Bitcoin because I got a specific video that we just put out yesterday talking about something similar to what we're going to talk about tonight. We basically called exactly what the price was fixing to be, and you're going to see that. And so you don't think we're making any of this stuff up. These signals don't just go away. So we're going to start tonight with Bitfarms, as we promised, and we're going to show you how you could have saved 70% or use the system to hedge or whatever a lot of different ways you could use this. But we're going to show you this screen real fast to explain the system. Then we're going to switch over to a little simpler view that only looks at one of these just to make the chart bigger and give you better insight. So again, TCP SuperSystem, 3 components. Mean reversion data at the top. We're looking at opportunity zones in solid green, solid red, extreme zones in the hash lines, top and bottom, and then 3 lines, red being the most volatile short term, and then orange and blue being your middle and longer term laggards lines. And we're looking for certain things to occur, in relation to the price action, which we'll go into in Bitfarms and Bitcoin in just a minute. Main indicator on the main chart, you got a couple things you're going to see here. You're going to see some moving averages, right? And we don't do the MACD garbage and the RSI garbage. These are specific indicators that we coded and recognized over time, but we do leverage them looking at maybe potential resistance or support. So they're important. You'll see clouds, green, red, uptrend, downtrend, right? You're going to see 2 sets of signals, or key signals, I guess I should say. Dark red diamonds, dark green diamonds. Those are the most opportunistic moments that we feel leveraging this system over time, especially when you combine it with the hot sensors that you see at the bottom. So 3 hot sensors, right? Well, sorry, before I get there. Yellow, you got triangles, labels, potential trend reversals, labels are confirmed trend reversals, okay? And then 3 hot sensors. You're looking at crossovers, color scheme, white, gray, blue, yellow, orange, red. Red being, and that's to the top and to the bottom of the midline. Red being the most, again, most opportunistic moments, especially combined with the dark red diamonds and dark green diamonds. So with that said, before we switch over to the other screen for Bitfarms and that 70% example, I want to show you real quickly on the hot sensors, since two of these are fixing to be gone when we switch over. We do have a crossover on the short term. That will be on the next screen. But on the middle and longer term, one, I want to show you that the dark green diamond, which is the only dark green diamond that we've even had since the dark red diamond, where did it happen? Well, one, it happened on, what's that, March 31st in the red down here. Opportunistic, and right there in the middle, in the medium term. So that's fantastic. So just keep that in mind. All right. So here's our simple view. Let's go down and make sure we're on Bitfarms. Yep, Bitfarms daily. Okay. And we're going to show you this. And by the way, while I'm doing this, we also got the fiat leak Bitcoin volumes flowing around the world down there in the bottom right. And actually, sorry, let me get this so make sure y'all can see this appropriately here. There you go. Hopefully you can see that. Actually, let's do this. Scoot that over just a little bit. There we go. All right. So I'm going to do a measurement here from this dark red diamond, top of that candle, to the bottom of the dark green one right here. And you're going to see, what do you know? 70%. I'm going to show you how you could leverage this system if you were talking to us and had it. So back on, what day was that? November 12th, you had a potential trend reversal for Bitfarms. Okay. You had a pump. There's your dark red diamonds. Again, those are the areas you typically try to scale out or make decisions. Again, that's not a recommendation to sell, but that's how we use it. And in addition to that, again, you can see, the mean reversion data, the red line, the volatile line was up in the extremes. We were printing some dark brown X's, which is for that orange line, is corresponds to the orange line. So both of those were up there. So that was the decision point, because obviously in the short-term hot sensor, it wasn't red. So that, you would have had to make a decision there. And then, we got our downtrend confirmation here, and then bam, down we go. And we didn't even get a dark green diamond until way down here, and this was on March 31st. Okay? But I want you to look. Let's just say you go middle of that candle. That's lower than where we are now. So you're actually already, and that's March 31st. So not only could you have saved 70%, but just from the last, 3 weeks, you're up 20%. That's how you build bags, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what we do. So again, March 31st, green. So that was the area that, you could have, I guess, scaled in or done whatever decision you wanted to make. I will say we do own positions in Bitfarms, and because of this chart, we not only have stock, but we actually took I guess made a play with some stock options as well. I do hate stock options, but we did it anyway just because it looked too good. So we do have positions here. So, and no one pays us to mention any particular stock or crypto or anything else. We do this for free. So we just ask that you like, share, subscribe, because we're just trying to help people out, and we don't want to have to charge for this. So, but again, dark green diamond could have been a good spot. Got a potential trend reversal here. That was today. And usually, again, when we see the yellow signals, whether it's the triangles or the confirmations, we typically tell our viewers, always wait a day or two, right? You want to get a little bit of confirmation to get a high level of confidence. And you'll see these moving averages. Sometimes they can be resistance, right? So this is the 50-day moving average. So I wouldn't be surprised if we bounced $1.05 and then maybe come back a little bit. And typically, more times than not, excuse me, what's going to happen is you'll get a little bounce, a little retracement. That's where you'll get your confirmation, your yellow up label, and then boom, you're off and running. But what we're going to be looking at, and we've got the crossover down here on the short-term hot sensor. So those are both very positive there. At the same time, what do you know? Your volatile red line's in the extremes. Your orange line is approaching or penetrating into the green opportunity zone. The blue is approaching. Historically speaking, for us, that is a fantastic setup. That's all I can say. So that's Bitfarms. Looking pretty good. So before we go into the other miners, I do want to show you a video that we made just yesterday, talking about, or maybe the day before, we'll see, talking about Bitcoin, doing a similar interpretation, and we actually basically almost have called the exact price of Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you that so you don't think we're just making this stuff up as on the fly. So check this out here. This was, let me go back, I think it's 345 right here. So 345 right here. And this was this yesterday? One day ago. Okay? But before we play it, I want you to look at the price right here. Bitcoin's 87,000. Okay? So check this out. Advisors. But mean reversion data. This is exactly what we want to see. So you now have the confirmation of the trend, the green cloud, one crossover, improving color schemes on the medium and long-term hot sensors. Oh, don't do that. On the mean reversion, our volatile red line, the make sure we don't have any problems here with the stream. Short-term line is up above the extremes, along with the orange that is now penetrated up through the red zone and is approaching those extremes, and the blues penetrating the green opportunity zones. Just what we just said about Bitfarms. Same reaction. All I'm going to say is, historically, when we're using... Man, sorry about the stream, guys. We're having some bad weather. This is a very, very good sign. So we will see where Bitcoin goes the next couple of days. Don't be shocked if we're hitting 95 to 100,000 over the next week or so. So that's pretty much it. So that's all I wanted to really share. And where are we at right now on Bitcoin, by the way? We were at 93 today. I mean, come on. Not too bad if you ask me. Again, none of it's financial advice, but just sharing for free. So Cleanspark, another one of the miners. We're going to show you again. I mean, good gracious. Look at this. And actually, since we're going to look at multiple ones here, let's go back to the main chart that we use on a daily basis. We can pull up Cleanspark over here. So just so we can get a full view. Okay, I hope you can see all that. So you can see Cleanspark here, another good miner that we like. It's a really quality play in our opinion. Trading at 877 right now. But you can see we got a dark red diamond over here on about November 12th. Hit that downturn. No dark green diamonds on this one on the downturn. You can see none of these. We didn't really get there. We got to the orange. So again, you could have dollar cost average in the orange, but we're looking for red, right? We did have red up here near the top on the short-term sensor, so that was good to see with the chart with the diamonds. But on the bottom side, we only got to orange, which is okay. We're starting to hammer out some potential trend reversals with some choppiness, but that's, a lot of times that can be a sign that we're near a bottom, right? When you're getting a lot of choppiness and a lot of these signals, and then again, we're getting these, and right here, just what we said, in previous streams, when you get these signals, always give it a day or two, and this is exactly why. Look at this potential. Next 2 days, boom, down. So you're out. You're not in that. You're not getting burned. You're not, there's no fear. There's no greed. You're just trusting the system. So down it goes. Potential. Down the next day. Nope. So you let it go. And you're following these other things, right? So these things, when they're all down below the midline, all three of these, you're not in that. That's negative. Right? You got to cross over here. That's right here. potential trend reversal with a crossover. That's two things we're looking for, right? And now we're actually breaking through one of those moving averages, so that's very good, right? So now it's going to serve as support. The next one's the 100-day at around 10-ish. But now you got to look at your mean reversion data at the top, right? So your red, fast, volatile lines in the extremes, just like we love it. Orange is penetrated up through the green, and now it's actually into the red. And blue is penetrating the green. That's fantastic. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this run. At the same time, we're actually improving on the color schemes. So, again, I believe I said this already, but it goes white, gray, blue, yellow, orange, red. So blue to gray is improving. Yellow to blue is improving, right? And then crossover on the short term. So this is exactly what you want. Now, again, I'd still give it the day or two just to see if we get, more confidence. It could have a small down tick, and then you might get your confirmation up label, and then boom, you're off and running. Piece of cake. Next one, Marathon. Let's take a look at Marathon. Here we go. Yeah, I don't like that because you don't really have much data yet for whatever reason. Let's skip Marathon. Let's look at, there's Hut. I haven't looked at Hut in a while. Yeah, we'll say that's not ready yet. Let's look at BitDeer. Okay, here's a good one. So here's BitDeer, right? So this is really good. So check this out. Oh man, too easy. November 6th, potential trend reversal, right? Green cloud. We never really got a confirmation here, but that's okay. We had, if you look at this potential right here, look at the hot sensors, you've got a crossover on the short term, a crossover on the medium term, and a crossover on the long term. So that's that's all three, plus the potential, plus the green cloud conversion. And you're all above the red zone, so that's good. That's a sign of strength, right? So you could have got in that trade, and you want to stay in those trades, and as long as those clouds are green, you want to try to stay in that. So even if you hit a dark red diamond here, right? What do you notice? So I want you to look at it. Look at the hot sensors. I hope you can notice that none of them are red, right? You got yellow. What, yellow? What, orange? Orange is getting there, right? But no, not really. And all your mean reversion data is looking pretty strong, right? They're all above the red opportunity zone. And I want to show you, we'll come back, but as you go across this trend, right? I want you to look at the orange line. Didn't really get close to that red zone until right there, right? I mean, that's actually the very top. I mean, is that the top? That's a little bit less. So that would have been around here, right? The red, if you would have got out, you could have got out. One area would have been when it broke through the red zone there, when it broke through here. But look where I'm at. I'm at the top. And that's where the dark red diamonds are. I mean, just trust the system. You don't have to guess. You don't have to have fear. You don't have to have greed. Just trust it. And over time, you can probably be a winner. And again, several days later, we get the potential trend reversal. Bam, we're on a downtrend. Now here you had a couple dark green diamonds, right? Those are the areas that we want to consider scaling in, right? So look here. So someone would say, well, hell, that fired and it went way down, right? Well, what do you notice about your hot sensors and why you may not use that as the opportunity? Again, these aren't recommendations to buy or sell. These are areas of opportunity, right? It's a key distinction. So look, in one, it did fall and it did come back, so you could have actually made a gain there, but that's a short, what's that, 3 or 4 days, so we're not really looking for that. But I want you to notice something. You had a down crossover on your short term. You're in the red on the upside on the long-term hot sensor. That's where you scale out. You don't scale in, all right? See what I mean? Took us 2 to 3 years, folks. We know what we're doing. So again, it came back up, hit that moving average, and then crashed, right? Next area, okay. You could have dollar costed average here, right? Would you? Possibly. It looks a little better than the first one, right? Now you got all three up here in the extreme zone on the bottom side, right? So that's good. That's where you want to be entering, right? But you also want to see some improvement here in the mean reversion data where you have the red line going up beyond that green opportunity zone up into the red and beyond, right? You want the red up top, right? So again, if you look at this, we're in the orange here. So not orange or yellow. It's right on the line there. We just had crossed over on the medium, so that's the only white or maybe even blue at best. And we're just crossing over the long term. That ain't red. What do you know? Crash. Now, you're going to say, well, we're not getting a dark green diamond, right? Well, no, that's why you can use these as areas to dollar cost average in. So by the time you get your pump, if you never get another dark green, well, guess what? Now you're in the profit anyway. But we try to maximize, right? So now we're getting a potential trend reversal. But just look at the data. Look at the hot sensors. Crossover to the positive. Improving color scheme. Improving color scheme. These are signs of strength, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your mean reversion data. Red line, extremes, perfect. Orange entering the green opportunity zone, perfect. Your blue's always going to be a little laggard, but we want it to get, we can see this get a little bit closer to the green, but this is a very good setup. So this is how we would interpret it. And that's how we can really find these areas of opportunity to make extraordinary gains. So just, it's fun stuff. And then obviously we're going to close this one out because a lot of those Bitcoin miners, they had great days today and they all look pretty similar. But XRP, again, one of our largest holdings. So we basically look at this every time. But we just want to show you where it's at right now because there's a lot of community folks that are into XRP. We're at 220, 219. This one is looking decent. We had a lot of choppiness, coming off that last confirmed downtrend. What do you know? It hit 200-day moving average, right? Now, this is where obviously this is one way to look at opportunities, but you can see we weren't anywhere near any type of exhausted state to the downside, right? We were gray, only blue. We're not even on the downside on the long-term hot sensor. So really, and you got a little bounce and then some sideways action, but now on April 18th, we had a confirmed uptrend. Give it a couple days, and what do you know? Boom. There's your crossover on the short term. We haven't crossed over on the medium term yet, and the long term, it's already above the midline, so there's no crossover there. So this one, we want to see it break through that moving average. If it does, it could all be up and running. Mean reversion up in the extremes, orange through the green, blues in or approaching the green right there. So that's perfect. So I'm just telling you, XRP could run here. And this is just technical analysis, much less all the fundamentals behind it and all the integrations and partnerships and whatever else you want to call it. You got founders shaking hands with the president. So yeah, go figure, right? So ladies and gentlemen, as promised, TCP SuperSystem, probably going to do a secondary video just with the Bitcoin piece because I want to call that out specifically because we nailed that like we nail a lot of these things. But if you have any particular crypto asset equity you want us to look at, feel free to put it in the comments. We'll try to incorporate it into one of our recordings and or maybe even its own recording. If enough people will comment, we like to engage. And all we ask is that you like, share, subscribe so we can keep this stuff free, help our community, and maybe go on this journey together. It'd be fun. It's going to be a remarkable next decade. That's all I can say. Until next time, hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jason, creator, founder of TCP SuperSystem. See you in the next one.